Hey y'all, and welcome to the PreMed Voice, the podcast where your voice is heard. I'm your host, Peyton Smith, and today we are blessed to hear from a third-year medical student, Aaron Dotson. He's attending St. Louis School of Medicine, and he's got some great information about his school, but also information us pre-med students can use as what we want to look for when we're looking at med school. So definitely make sure you guys are paying attention, taking some notes. And so here it is, Aaron Dotson, everyone.
Turn it up, let's go. Turn it up, let's go.
PreMed Voice.
Hey PreMed Star, my name is Aaron Dotson, and I'm a third-year medical student at the St. Louis University School of Medicine. I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, and I attended the University of Texas at Dallas, where I studied neuroscience and classical piano. At SLU, I was the past co-president for the Student National Medical Association, SNMA, and I was also the past co-lead for the neurosurgery interest group. My current medical interests, as far as specialty, include either urology or plastic surgery. So I'm here to talk to you a little bit about why I chose to attend SLU and why I continuously love attending SLU. So let's get started. So one of the biggest reasons why I chose to attend SLU really is the mission as well as the core values of the institution. Here at SLU, we are very big on service to the underserved and disadvantaged. At SLU, there are several opportunities as far as volunteerism, as well as just getting out into the community of St. Louis and truly being able to make a difference. And that's something that I've been very passionate about even before medical school, and seeing that within a medical institution made me more energized and wanting to go to SLU for those reasons. Another thing is that SLU is a Jesuit Catholic institution, and the mission of the Jesuit Catholics goes hand in hand with the desire of the institution for wanting to help out underserved and disadvantaged communities. And at SLU, you don't have to be Jesuit. You don't have to be Catholic, and you don't even have to be Christian to be able to go to this to be able to go to this medical school. The thing is that you just have to be passionate about wanting to help those who are truly in the most of need. Some examples of those volunteer experiences that I've done were working at the HRC, which is our Human Resource Center that's located slightly north in St. Louis. It's a free clinic that is primarily run by a lot of the medical students. And with that clinic, we were able to provide access to healthcare to several individuals within the St. Louis city as well as the St. Louis County who otherwise would not be able to have that medical care. Within that clinic, they have several different specialty clinics. For example, like the Well Women's Clinics. We have diabetes clinics. We have asthma and allergy, et cetera, et cetera. So it provides ample opportunities to be able to get out in the community and being able to assist those who otherwise would not have that access to medical care as such. Another reason why I truly do love SLU is the faculty and staff. They truly do double as family for me. Many of the faculty and staff at SLU, I have their cell phone numbers. I've been to their homes. I've met a lot of their families. And they tell us all the time that, it doesn't matter what time of day, what type of night it is. If you're stressed out about something, if there's something that's on your mind, if things are going well, give me a call, get in contact with me, let me know what's going on. And that truly makes a difference within attending medical school overall, knowing that you have faculty and staff members that they're not just there. They're more than just being a faculty or staff member. They truly do act as family. As a medical student, it can be very difficult. Medical school is definitely not easy. But knowing that you are not just a number and that you have people that are truly looking out for you and who truly do care for you, definitely does make a difference overall in your overall medical school performance, etc. So another thing that I really do enjoy about SLU is the curriculum. At SLU, we are a pass-fail institution. So what that basically means is that whether you make a 100% on an examination, or depending on the class, whether you make a 70 or a 75% on an exam, or for the overall class grade, that is still considered to be a pass. And with the pass-fail system, it truly does take away a lot of that added extra stress as far as pressure for wanting to get the absolute highest grade as possible. Now, with that being said, we still have extremely intelligent classmates. After examination, we do get a median score, and the median simply represents the 50% mark. So 50% of people do better than the median, 50% of people do worse, do not as good as the median as such. And sometimes our median grades are within the 90%, 95%, high 80s, etc. So although we are a pass-fail institution, our students are performing very, very well, if not better than if we were not on a pass-fail scale. And I also feel that pass-fail it allows for life to be able to happen. In the case that you become sick, in the case that something happens within the family, it gives you the ability to be able to handle business outside of school, but also be able to know that you're not in jeopardy as far as failing a class, etc. So another thing that I truly do enjoy about our curriculum is our Tegrity recording system. So Tegrity is this very fancy optimized recording system that's used in order to record all of our lectures, and it houses them within one location in one place. And what that does is that it gives the student the opportunity to be able to choose exactly how they want to study. So essentially, the student could decide to go to lecture if they want to, or for other students who may not learn as well being in a lecture-styled environment like myself, we can choose to watch the Tegrity videos after the lecture has been recorded as such. And what that does is that it allows for me to be able to watch the video on my own time. It allows for me to be able to watch it at 2 times speed, to be able to rewind it, to be able to go back and pick up information that I may have missed from prior watchings, or even sitting in lecture from prior times of sitting in lecture and such. And I feel like it's a great resource, because I know there are some medical schools who do not have a recording system, and they require for you to attend every single lecture. And I knew starting from the very beginning that was not going to be the way that I studied. That was not going to be the best way to which that I learned personally. So I'm very grateful that SLU has this opportunity to be able to learn the best way possible for myself. And kind of going back to pass-fail, there still are some schools here in the U.S. That do not have a pass-fail system. And I feel that I would be significantly much more stressed attending a school worried about every single point, trying to worry about, okay, am I making straight A's or whatever, versus just making sure that I'm truly understanding the material and truly falling in love with the material and being able to pass the class. And that's pretty much how we do things at SLU. Another thing with the curriculum that I enjoy here at SLU is the block-by-block class schedule. So some institutions, they do kind of a lumping of the organ systems all together, as far as we do the anatomy, physiology of the organ system, in addition to pathology of the organ system, pharmacology, et cetera, et cetera. You get what I mean. Here at SLU, though, we do it individually, class by class. So we start off medical school with that of cell molecular biology, and then we transition you into taking anatomy, and then as the first year curriculum then goes on, you take your immunology, your microbiology, pharmacology, et cetera, and it really gives you the opportunity to be able to focus completely on a class without having to worry about other things or other subjects within that time period for taking that course in particular. And with each class, we've optimized to now having NVME final exams. And what that basically means is that at the very end of a class block, so for example, at the end of cardiology or at the end of respiratory, we have an NBME, which is a National Board Medical Examination final exam. And it's a very, very good exam, because it gives you the opportunity to essentially practice like you are getting ready to take USMLE Step 1 for a specific subject. So it gives you the opportunity to be able to read through your resources, to go through your class material, to be able to look at different question banks, to be able to prepare adequately for taking these NVME finals exams. And I found these to be extremely helpful, because they prepared me the most prior to getting ready to study for USMLE Step 1. And actually talking about USMLE Step 1, at St. Louis University, we allow our students to have around 7 to 8 weeks in total to be able to study for Step 1 overall. And I feel like that was a perfect amount of time. I know some other medical schools, they don't give their students nearly that much amount of time. Some schools allow for 3 to 4 weeks. Some schools allow for 5 to 6 weeks. But I feel like SLU, 7 to 8 weeks is a perfect amount of time for studying as well as for taking USMLE Step 1. Even going on about the curriculum, the clinical exposure at St. Louis University is seen at the very beginning of your first year at medical school. You know, some other medical schools, you get your white coat at your white coat ceremony and you essentially put it in your closet until you become a third year medical student, until you go on the wards. But that's not what happens here at SLU. At SLU, from the very beginning of first year, we get you involved clinically because we want to be able to train you as best as possible clinically so that when you get to your second and your third and your fourth year, you already know what you need to do. And some of those different examples include, right. So what do we do in those cases is that we have trained patients. We have our standardized patients. We have our SPs that come in, and as groups of 4 or 5 medical students as such, we work out different cases and we learn how to take a proper history. We learn how to do a physical examination. We learn how to be able to draw blood. We learn how to be able to essentially do basic clinical things prior to getting into later on within the first year curriculum, which I found to be very, very, very important. And probably the last thing that I want to talk about the curriculum that I really do enjoy about SLU is forgiveness. SLU is understanding that life does happen. Although we are a relatively accelerated medical school curriculum program, as we do our first 2 years within 1.5 years technically, there is room to move things around in the case that life happens. For example, in the case that things may not go so well on Step 1, and that is very, very rare for a St. Louis University student, we do offer a few times to be able to retake the examination prior towards talking to the deans and et cetera to figure out what the plan is going to be. Also, in the case that one becomes sick on a clinical rotation, or if someone else in the family becomes sick, or you have to take time away from school, we do offer the ability to retake up to, I think up to two clinical rotations, and you're still in track as far as graduating on time with your class. You know, more things to talk about why I truly do enjoy SLU is inclusive of the match rate. We have a 100% match rate, and that is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Our students are matching all over the country into very competitive specialties, inclusive of orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, urology, plastic surgery, dermatology. But, you know, we also have students that are going into the #1 locations for a lot of primary care specialties as well, inclusive of family medicine, internal medicine, pediatrics, OBGYN, the list goes on and on and on. And one thing that I wanted to say for last, as far as things that I really do enjoy about SLU, is wellness. St. Louis University School of Medicine is the #1 in the country for wellness in regards to medical schools. It is very apparent within our curriculum. We have different wellness coordinators within each and every class. We also have different opportunities for wellness awareness, as far as we give our students lots of breaks during not long. So we also have different opportunities for wellness awareness within each and every class as such. We give different opportunities for just different wellness breaks from the medical school curriculum in order to allow for students to have some fun, although you're still in medical school. So it helps to foster the importance of wellness overall. And additionally is that St. Louis University School of Medicine also offers free sessions with therapists if needed. And I feel that that is something that is extremely important here at SLU within the culture, is that we understand that medical school is hard, yes, but it does not have to be taxing on mentation overall. And I'm very appreciative of SLU and their value of wellness in general. So I want to leave you guys with just a few tips on applying to St. Louis University. You know, just with any and every medical school, having an early application is the absolute best. It gives you the best ability and the best option to be able to obtain an interview invite. So that's #1. #2 is, you know, if you if you know that you're wanting to apply to St. Louis University in advance, I would highly advise using an online search to try to locate last year's secondary application essays. Typically, you know that the secondary application essays, they're not going to change from the course of year to year. So this kind of gives you a head start to be able to work on your secondary essay applications, etc. So that as soon as you get your secondary delivered to you via email, you can just copy and paste and you're good to go. And you can do that essentially for just about any medical school that you know that you want to apply for, just so that you're ahead of the game. And another thing I would highly suggest is to definitely complete St. Louis University's optional secondary essay. Our secondary essay truly is optional, but in my opinion, it gives the admissions committee the ability to be able to look at you within the different facets. You want the admissions committee to be able to learn as much stuff about you as possible. So with that secondary essay, I would suggest reading our mission statement and core values online. I would then suggest creating an essay that provides different examples and explains exactly how you represent our mission and core values. I feel like that is the best way in order to create a secondary essay in general, and I feel like that is going to speak levels if you're applying to St. Louis University School of Medicine. So with that being said, that's pretty much all I have for right now. I appreciate you all tuning into this podcast, and I would highly suggest that you subscribe to PreMed Star on iTunes or Google. Thank you very much, and this is Aaron Dotson, a third-year medical student, St. Louis University School of Medicine, signing out. Have a good one.
Great stuff right there, Aaron. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to record that for us. I know from me and everybody at PreMed Star, we wish you the best of luck while you finish up your med school career and enter into that medical career. It sounds like you are at a great institution and you are getting the best education possible. So thank you so much for sharing everything about St. Louis School of Medicine. I know that I definitely want to look into it after hearing from you, and I hope that all of our listeners want to as well. So thank you so much, Aaron, and best of luck to you. Now, my listeners, announcements for the week. Make sure you guys are grabbing onto PreMedStar.com if you're not already on there, and make sure you guys are interacting with each other. It's great to be on there, but I want to make sure you guys are all utilizing it and making it extremely useful for all of you guys. So update that profile weekly if you can, and make sure you guys are making connections on there. 2, if you guys would like to be featured on this podcast, of course, please email us at voice@premedstar.com, and we'll give you all the information you need to be on here, just like Aaron was this week. And then, of course, don't forget to press that subscribe button, whether you're listening to this on iTunes or any Android platform. Make sure you guys are pressing subscribe, and don't forget to share us with your friends and family. We would love to reach a wider audience, and we hope that you guys are enjoying this as we're making them. So that's all I have for you guys this week. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to have us a part of it. We hope you guys are enjoying this stuff, and we will see all of you guys next week.
Turn up, let's go.